Hello friends, in this video we are going to talk about the Piconet synchronization and how it is achieved, what are the steps involved in the Piconet synchronization. So let's begin with the topic. Bluetooth is a wireless technology. We know that whenever we want to implement a wireless personal area network, which is basically a short range network, then we require certain types of standard. The three different standards supported or provided by wireless technology are nothing but IRDA, then second is Bluetooth, and third one is IEEE 802.15. Out of these three standards, Bluetooth is the most commonly used and most popular standard because of its easy implementation. The IRDA uses an infrared for establishing a communication, but it has a limitation of line of sight. Only when the line of sight is available, in that case, the data communication can be takes place. This disadvantage or limitation is get overcome by using a technology called as Bluetooth. IEEE 802.15 also uses Bluetooth as a foundation for developing their standard. So we can say the Bluetooth acts as a middle technology between the infrared and IEEE 802.15. Also, it is very easy to establish a Bluetooth network by using a various Bluetooth enabled devices. In case of Bluetooth, the various applications are nothing but they can be used for controlling the household device, as well as they can be used in the gaming application, then they are used in the industrial application, they are used in the medical and health sector. So Bluetooth find its application in variety of sectors. And there is a rapid growth in the various technical features of Bluetooth, due to which the Bluetooth gains more and more popularity as compared to the other two standards. Now, in case of Bluetooth, a Piconet is nothing but a network formed by two or more than two devices by using a Bluetooth technology. Bluetooth operates on the frequency range of 2.4 to 2.486 GHz, which is usually called as IMS frequency band. This frequency band is considered as unlicensed frequency band as it is available to everyone and it do not require extra permission or special license for its operation. Many household devices, or we can say many applications, also works on the same frequency band. The application involves industrial application, it involves scientific application, and it involves medical application. The cordless phones and the microwave oven also operates on the same frequency range. The Bluetooth uses frequency hop spectrum as a modulation technique, and it covers a range or a distance of 10 meter to 100 meter typically. At the same time, the Bluetooth provides a data rate of 720 kbps and maximum data speed of 1 mbps. As it uses frequency hop spectrum, therefore, it is possible to avoid interference from the other devices which operates on the IMS band. Now, in case of Bluetooth, a Piconet is formed when two or more than two devices communicates with each other. Now, in this video, we are going to talk about the Piconet synchronization. That means how the Piconets the operation of the Piconet is get synchronized so that the proper communication can be takes place. So let's start. Every Bluetooth enabled device has a inbuilt internal clock which is called as native clock, that is and represented by CLKN. A Bluetooth clock is derived from this free running native clock. For synchronization with other units, offset are added to the native clock to obtain the temporary Bluetooth clock which are mutually synchronized. So in order to have a proper operation, that means in order to transmit and receive the data, or in order to perform the operation in a synchronized manner, the Piconet synchronization concept is used. For that purpose, we used an internal clock of the Bluetooth which is called as native clock, and the Bluetooth clock is get derived from the native clock. Now for synchronizing with other unit or for synchronizing with the master, the offsets are get added to the native clock and it will form a new clock signal that is called as temporary Bluetooth clock, which is represented by CLK. And when the Piconet is established, the master native clock is communicated to all the slaves to generate the offset value. This offset value is when added to the Bluetooth native clock, it produces the temporary Bluetooth clock. Now in case of Piconet, the device which originate or initiates the communication is called as master, and the other devices which receives the data from the transmitter or which receives the data from the master are called as slave. To one master, we can connect 7 different slaves. So, to have a proper wireless communication, the synchronization between the master and slave is very much important. The master native clock, for or to have a synchronization between the master and slave, the master native clock is get transmitted to all the slaves so that the offset value can be calculated, and with the help of that offset value, it is possible to obtain the temporary Bluetooth clock. The master basically gives an interval which is having a value of m into 625 milliseconds, where m is nothing but the even number, it is even positive integer, and it is definitely greater than 0. And that interval is maintained between the two consecutive transmission. So value of m can be 2, it may be 4, it may be 6. So the value of m required to be even and positive other than 0. The slave receiving timing is adjusted with any packet sent in the master slave slot, whereas the slave transmission time is adjusted based on the most recent saved receiving time. So in this way, the synchronization between the transmitter and receiver, that means between the master and slave, can be takes place. When slave is in the adjusting mode, the receiving time of slave is adjusted in such a way that it is get adjusted for any packet sent from the transmitter. And when the slave is in the transmitting mode, the transmitting time of the slave is get adjusted based on the receiving time of the slave. Now here we can see the diagram used for deriving a slave's clock. So here every slave unit participate in the Piconet uses the derived clock for all timing and scheduling activities in the Piconet. So here clock master is present, that means the clock of the master device is get added, we can say, or it is get added with the offset values in order to produce the clock, and here also that clock is called as temporary Bluetooth clock. Now, next we are going to discuss is nothing but the Bluetooth master and slave switch. That means whenever any device which acts as a slave want to switch with the master or want to act as a master, in case of if the master leaves or if the device wants to act as a master, then how that switching operation can take place. The current Bluetooth specification provides means of master and slave switch roles. This procedure is desirable on the occasion such as the first condition or the first scenario is when a unit paging a master for existing Piconets wants to join this Piconet. Now to one master we can connect the 7 slaves. If the additional slave wants to join a network then or wants to join a Piconet, then it can be a part of the Piconet, but it is not possible for that device to take actual part in the actual data communication. It can just listen whatever the communication going on the Piconet. When it wants to take an active participation in the communication, it requires a permission from the master, or it requires to swap with one of the active slave so that it can be a part of that particular Piconet. So in that case, the master slave switch operation occurs. The second scenario is when the slave in the existing Piconets wants to set up a new Piconet involving itself as a master and the current master acts as a slave. So when one slave wants to form its own Piconet and wants to be a part, or we can say wants to be a master of that Piconet, and the Piconet in which the slave is present, that master acts as a slave for that Piconet. So in that case also the permission, or we can say the switching between master slaves required to be performed. The master slave switching is satisfied in 3 steps, and the steps are: first is TDD switch, second one is Piconet switch for the previous master, and Piconet switch for the remaining slaves. So in this, by using this 3 step, it is possible to perform the master slave switching. Now let's consider an example in which a master device B wants to switch the role with the slave device A. That means B wants to be a slave and the slave A wants to be a master. The time to perform TDD switch is average amount of time between the instant the master decides to switch TXRS slot till the TXRX slot actually change. So the time duration between the decision of the master for switching the transmission receiving slot till the actual transmission receiving slot is called as time required to perform TDD. Now it depends on the frequency with which the slave involved in the role of switch is pulled. The average time taken by the master-slave switch is the range from 63 to 200 milliseconds. Now let's discuss what are the various steps involved when master B wants to switch its role with slaves A. So now here, first of all, step 1 is nothing but master type, that is link manager protocol. The direction is from B to A and the purpose is requesting for the switching of role from B, that is from master, to A, that is a slave. Then second step is nothing but from A to B, and it is also a link manager protocol. Here the role switching request is get accepted with the offset time slot calculation or with offset time slot information. Then in third step, the TDD switch at switch instant is get calculated and the maximum value is 32,2 into T pole. Now in fourth step, various combination steps get involved, and the steps are, the first one is nothing but FHS, that is direction is from A to B. It contains the device address which is called as AM address for B and FHS sequence. Then next is nothing but ID, and that is the information transmitted from B to A, and that ID is acts as an acknowledgement. After that, to verify the role of switching, the pole is sent, and that pole is from A to B, which basically used with for verifying the pole switch, and here the timer is kept on. Next is nothing but the null, which acts as an acknowledgement from B to A, and that acknowledgement is in response of pole signal. Now in fifth step, the LPM is transmitted from A to other devices, and that is used for calculating the slot difference between the new and old Piconet master. Next, the FHS is transmitted again from A to other devices, which may contain the AM address, which may be the same address, and it contains the FHM frame. So in response from the other devices to A, an acknowledgement is sent, that is in the form of ID, and that is from other devices to A. Now A also sends a pole signal to other devices for verifying the role switch, and the direction is from A to other devices. In response to that, null signal is sent from other devices to A, and it is acts as an acknowledgement or response, or we can say feedback. Now in sixth step, the LMP is sent from A to other devices, which for establishing the link manager protocol connection, which is responsible for controlling the link setup, which is responsible for controlling the data communication between the devices. Now in response to that, an acknowledgement is get sent from other devices to A in the form of LMP only. Now the L2 cap is basically used for establishing the connection between the other devices and A. So the direction of L2 cap is from A to other devices, and in response to that, other devices send L2 cap to A as an acknowledgement. Basically the role switching between the B and A, that is role switching between the master and client, or we can say the master and slave, takes place. In order to perform the Piconet synchronization, the internal clock of the master is used, which is get added with the offset to form or to obtain the temporary Bluetooth clock, and with the help of that clock signal, it is possible to maintain a synchronization between the master and slave. The two types or the two scenario in which this switching or we can say the synchronization is required, first is nothing but when a device wants to be a part of the Piconet, and the second scenario is when the device wants to form its new Piconet and be a master of that Piconet. So this is what about the information related to the Piconet synchronization, which is required for proper operation between the master and slave devices, or between the two masters, or between the two Piconets. So I hope you understand this topic. So thank you very much for watching this video. Stay tuned to Ekeeda. Subscribe Ekeeda. Thank you.